What's happening? What's happening? Oh, hey, hey, what's happening? Peace, 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 peace. Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Much love. Jumbo, Ola, Islam. Uh, what was the other one? Assalamu alaikum. Hotep. What's happening? Peace. I'll be right back. I want to just get, and then we shall get started. You been? All right, I think we're in. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do, 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 do. Live, just so you know. We alive. We alive. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We alive. What's happening? What's happening? How you feeling out there? Hope you're feeling all right. Yeah. My daughter like, yeah, she ain't feeling that good. She kind of sick. Finna have some miso soup. I'm just getting the one other book ready. I got the main thing I want to read. We're gonna keep this short and sweet. Just one moment, if you will. One moment. Appreciate you tapping in. Yeah, we'll leave that alone. We'll leave that alone. We'll leave that alone. We'll just go right here with it. Yeah, we'll go right there with it. We'll go right there with it. All right, we gonna hit remix while I'm going live. We're gonna hit the remix. Can we hold off for a moment or two? I'm saying, can we start with the extra? Thank you. Let me just. I'm talking to the people. Some things gotta wait. We gotta make some sacrifices here. Come on now, work with me, please. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate the love. All right, all right. Now we didn't got the distractions out the way. Micaiah L. Bay, Darnell Johnson Jr., Hebrew Stevens, 704 Mers, Elias Bay, Al Musariel L. Bay, Kubian Nasir, my fault. This dude is fraud. Oh, excuse me. Pardon me. Freedom and Justice. Peace. Lance Lawrence. J. Rock. Excuse me, Pete. Oh, can you give me something to drink? Thank you. Thank you. Peace, 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 peace. I even getting into what I wanted to say. The QUIBN. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that. Nasir L. This dude is fraud. We're gonna hold on to that one for after. So that I would love for you to explain to me what about me is fraud, and you have a dialogue, if you will. Let me get to the topic. You know what I mean? What people are here for. Consular Court Moors versus Noble Drew Ali. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, we done reeled them in. We didn't reel them in. Yes, yes, yes. I know the title is a little provocative, yes, but I got you here. I hope you're listening. Because what we are going to be talking about first, is the concept of focus. What is the issue? Is the issue Jamal, thank you. Is the issue Jamal versus Rami? Rise of the Moors versus IAMHH Temple? The Moorish American Consulate versus Moorish Science Temple of... No, let's not do that. The issue before us is the Supreme Grand Council. And what oftentimes people will do that want to avoid speaking truthfully is deflect. They try to take the conversation, the narrative, the framing of the discussion, they try to move it away. So instead of speaking about the Supreme Council, which is the issue, the focus wants to be, look what I said, look what he said, me, him, he's trying to, I'm trying to. No. It's not that. Let's focus. The Supreme Grand Council, that's the issue that I've been speaking about. I believe since 2015 was the first time I put it on video. And while we're on that, I want someone out there, I want the person that said I was a fraud, just do something simple for me since, you know, you're tapped in. Make another tab on YouTube and do a simple search for Supreme Grand Council. And I just want you to tell me what comes up. Just let me know. Don't worry. I'll wait. Let's see, man. Am I coming in all right? Am I coming in? I started joking, man, and my thing went haywire on me though. Am I back? Anybody in the chat for me? I think I'm back. I don't know if I'm back. I hope I'm back. I'm gonna just keep going. Okay, yeah. Well, okay, okay, cool. All right, cool. So while y'all doing the search, real quick, YouTube, anybody out there, do a search for Supreme Grand Council in the YouTube and just see what comes up. In the meantime, I'm gonna just read this. This is from the Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish literature, from Noble Drawley. Okay. This excerpt is number 3, a warning from the prophet. Just read from the top all the way down to the part where I really want to get to. For all governors and grand sheiks and head officials of temples, renew your acts and amend your ways, because the great conference is on its way, and in it is where the law will be enforced before the great grand body. The continuance of the present officers in the temple will depend on your past good work. Those who have been delinquent may now know that they will not be tolerated any longer, because this great divine and national movement must move on according to law. These things shall be proclaimed. Listen closely. There is no favorite in any of the temples. I'm going to start that one more time so you can hear me clearly. There is no favorite in any of the temples. We'll do it one more time just so we can really, you feel me on this, all right? There is no favorite in any of the temples, for the law is laid down, and everyone, not most, not a lot, everyone who claims a part of the work must be governed accordingly. All are one. Warning from the prophet. So I read that so that we could just dead the whole narrative of why you just pick. Does that make sense? You understand my perspective on this? And that applies to everyone. Jamal, Taj, Cujo, Rami, the good brother Aleem, whoever or whomever. It's no bias. It's not no favorites. We gotta be on track. Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
No.
No, for Kayla.
No, put one back, please.
Okay.
Now let me get directly. Go sit down for me, man, in the room. Thank you.
I'm going with the building.
Okay. Sorry, lost focus for a second. Let me get to the focus. You know what I mean? Before we get back to the Consular course versus the Morse, I do want to address something in particular. See, Allah's the best of planners, man. Keeping it real for Rami section. Whoop, we're just gonna hit a little side section, all right? I was like for sure thinking that I had a conversation with Jamal, but I kept searching on the messenger. Like, where is this conversation? Couldn't find it. And I didn't want to mention the conversation off of what I thought was said. So I'm like, man, I could have sworn I had a conversation. Can't find it. Oh, well. Then I see the video, and he's talking about the email. And I said, oh, snap, it's in the email. So I go digging, and what do you know? There it is. So I'm listening, and it gets to the part where he's reading my response to his email and his letter about the Supreme Grand Council. Mind you, this was in 2017, September 11th, that he found out about. Oh, let me get my notes. Hold on. I got my notes. Them notes was important. I think I remember it off the top. That he had known about the Supreme Grand Council, and he read his letter, verbatim in full. When he got to my response, right around the 21-minute mark of the video, he gets to a particular part, and then he says, and blah, 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 blah. Then he skips to his response, and he says, blah, 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 and that's it, and just moves on. And I said, man, that's interesting. So I went back to the email, and I said, I want to find out what was that blah, 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 blah part. And when I read the blah, 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 I said, oh, wow. That's very interesting that he chose to just skip, omit that part. You know what I mean? As if it was irrelevant, as if it wasn't important. I said, well, I think I want to share that part with you all. And this is pointing to a larger point in terms of principle, in terms of analyzing and thinking critically about people's actions and the intent behind them. Because it wasn't accidental that it was blah, 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 blah. Okay? So let's just read the email. Matter of fact, I'll read mine verbatim. If you want, you can go check his video. I'll put the link in later. You know what I mean? So you can see it. And go to the 21-minute mark and watch from there, or watch the full video. But just so you can understand the part that I'm talking about, and then you can hear the full response, all right? And just if you didn't know, if you're coming in blind, don't know what I'm talking about, Jamal Talib Abdullah Bey, I'm sorry if I got it mixed up, but Jamal Bey sent me an email of a letter, a writ in September 2017 about the Supreme Grand Council. And the writ, to summarize, the writ was bringing the attention to the leaders of the temples, saying you have X amount of days to respond, or else you're, you failed a lawsuit, basically, blah, 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 and then we can just proceed without you. This is my response to that. Peace. Thank you for working on this writ. Amazing work. It is along the lines of what I was thinking. If I can add my perspective, I want to pivot away from, or I want us to redirect our thinking as it relates to compliance. I understand we have to get things moving and can't wait for others to get on board. But if we must move forward, I want it to be after giving everyone fair notice first. So nobody can say, well, I didn't know about the Supreme Grand Council, or I never received this letter, etc. I would like for us to format the purposes of the Supreme Grand Council very clearly, with maybe bullet points or an indented section, so in this letter it also fully informs them on what the Supreme Grand Council is and charges them with the responsibility of putting forth a representative. And all Moorish Americans, all the people, all of us. I also wanted to extend to all Moorish Americans not in a temple, but that in itself brings up more issues. I'm not exactly sure how to square that part away. This is key. And this, matter of fact, I'm sorry, let me run it back. This last part right here is the part that was blah, blah, blah. All right? Let me run it back. This part is the blah, blah, blah. So please listen very carefully, because this was the part that was omitted. Gotta listen carefully. I also want it being the letter to extend to all Moorish Americans not in a temple, but that in itself brings up more issues. I'm not exactly sure how to square that part away, but basically, summarizing, I want the message to be heard loud and clear first, before any action is taken, so that the few that try and object won't be able to stand on that as an excuse. Does that make sense? Right. So the part that he decided to omit was the part where I said I wanted this letter, this notice about the Supreme Grand Council, to extend to all Moorish Americans not in a temple. And that basically I want it to be heard very loud and clear before we do any sort of action. First, I want everyone to understand what the Supreme Grand Council is first, before there's any sort of voting people onto this council. Why would I ask that? So that everyone is informed. So everyone can make an informed decision, because the Supreme Grand Council is that important. And don't take my words for it. The good brother Jamal himself said in his video, and I quote, the Supreme Grand Council is important. Further along, the Supreme Grand Council is the Congress of the nation.
I gotta say one thing.
Hold on, G. I'm working. You go sit down, please.
I'll say one thing, just one thing.
No, it's serious right now. Go sit down for me.
That is about the
Cam. Thank you.
I told you about interrupting. Go in there.
Excuse me. Gotta, you know what I mean? Congress of the nation. That's where I was at. I would think that something as important as the Congress of our nation, we would make a very extensive effort to inform everyone, as it involves the nation. That makes sense to me. I think it makes sense to me. I don't know if it makes sense to you. And see, the beautiful thing about this, I forgot about this. And now we're almost 2 years or coming up to 2 years later. And now we can reflect on what's happened. And I want you to understand, again, this is about the Supreme Grand Council, but we're going to use Brother Jamal as an example. Can you find that he titled Supreme Grand Council? Don't worry, I'll wait. What other effort had he done to inform all the people about this council, the Congress of our nation? Why did he abandon trying to establish and instead work to establish his own thing? That brings me to the title of the video, Consular Court Moors versus Noble Drew Ali. Noble Drew Ali created the Supreme Grand Council. Whoever created the Consular Court. You know, I say Consular Court, but I'm really speaking about the Moorish American Consulate. But that is, Cam, come on, man. Go sit down. Excuse me. The Consular Court Moors, that was just more so to attract you. I'm speaking, one, about the Moorish American Consulate, but that's any Moorish group that tries to establish something outside of what the Prophet, following what the Prophet created, following the Prophet's footsteps. We're not supposed to be trying to create our own thing like that. Not when we just abandoning what the Prophet established. Are we following what we want to create and what we want to do, or the Prophet told us we need to be doing? And that's what I keep bringing to the table. That's why I keep bringing Supreme Grand Council to the table. And this group is the group that would make it very clear so there will be no confusion. So you wouldn't have to wonder, well, should I go with this Consular Court or the Moorish American Consulate or this USAR or this and this? No, it will be very clear. This is how you get your nationality card. This is what you do for taxes. This is how you go for employment. This is how you go for rent. This is it's whatever. Because that's the duty of the Supreme Grand Council, in charge of all the affairs and all the property. And I've said this over and over and over again. And you see, Jamal's lack of attention to this matter, when he clearly knew and was aware of the importance of it, reflects on his intentions and what he's about. But it's not just him. I'm saying for all of us, we all are accountable. And that's why I keep saying we. It's not about him. It's not about me. It's not about Cujo. It's not about Taj. It's not about specific individuals. It's about all of us. That's what we have to understand. We keep wanting to just look at a leader and just follow that one individual. It doesn't work like that. If it's going to be an individual that we're supposed to be following, come on now. We read the end of time and the fulfilling of prophecies. The last prophet in these days is Noble Drew Ali, who is prepared divinely in due time by Allah to redeem men from their sinful ways and to warn them of the great wrath which is sure to come upon the earth. It didn't say the last prophet in these days is Rami Salam El or Jamal or Taj Tariq Bey or Cujo or whoever else. Noble Drew Ali. That's a prophet. Follow Noble Drew Ali. Oh, well, what are you talking about? Hold on, man. Let me get my workout, man. And I'm gonna read. I seen some comments. We're gonna get to matter of fact, let me get to the Questions? Let's see if there's any questions. Is there any questions? Let me, because I'm seeing comments. I was trying to look for questions. I don't see any questions. And let me say this. Let me just, so if I wasn't clear before, because I saw that in the video too, and now it just it spoke to, again, the character. It was paraphrasing something along the line of, how can I question Jamal's ethic, Jamal's motives, or Jamal's actions, but I don't question Taj Tariq Bey, as if Taj Tariq Bey is exempt from questioning. No. Let me make that clear, if that ever seemed the case. Nobody, if I wasn't clear from reading it earlier, Taj isn't exempt. Ain't nobody exempt. My mama not exempt. Ain't nobody exempt. We all got to be held accountable. Fact. Facto. Factory. You feel me? So any questions? Am I unclear on anything? Oh, the brother that called me a fraud. What, can you explain to me, what about me is a fraud? How do we put the info out on a massive scale to Moors like myself that don't belong to a temple? Hebrew Stevens, that question right there. How do we put the info out on a massive scale to Moors like myself that belong to a temple? That question right there. That's when I said I also want to extend to all Moorish Americans not in a temple, but that in itself brings up more issues. I'm not exactly sure how to square that part away. That's exactly what I was speaking to, meaning I don't know how we notify or how we would send out information to every quote unquote black person. But that's what I was saying, when I said all Moorish Americans that are not in a temple. How do you even do that? I don't know how you do that. I literally don't. I didn't have an answer for that. I still don't have an answer for that. You know what I mean? Like that's a great question. I don't know. You know what I mean? But that goes even more to my point of why I want us to work on the Supreme Grand Council issue and not just waiting on Rami to create a solution, because I don't have all the answers. I do know that this Supreme Grand Council issue is the priority, ahead of the Consular Court that Noble Drew Ali never mentioned, ahead of the Moorish American Consulate, which Noble Drew Ali never mentioned, ahead of the Gray Seal. I love Noble Drew Ali didn't mention. This Supreme Grand Council is something specifically that Noble Drew Ali created and established, and it's connected to so much important and integral stuff with this organization in our nation that it blows my mind that we are still bobbing and weaving and ducking this topic. Who trains who? Oh, great question. Who trains J-Rock? Who trains the Supreme Grand Council to be Supreme Grand Council? In the Moorish literature, it speaks about the qualifications of people to be on the Supreme Grand Council. I don't want to tell you because you need to know, J-Rock. So you got to look it up. Read it for yourself. Study so that you know. So you're not just believing what I say. You're not just believing what somebody on YouTube says or what you heard on some blog talk. Great point, Shabuda L. Disagreeing with Taj Tariq Bey should not automatically make anyone a demon. No one should follow anyone blindly. Islam. Jackie Archer. Consular Court was around when Noble Drew Ali was around, mentioned in the Constitution. It was closed down by de facto. So it's wrong for us to reestablish the Consular Court? Jackie Archer. What do you think takes a priority? The Consular Court or the Supreme Grand Council? The Consular Court was established by whom again? We talking about what exactly? Because I know the Supreme Grand Council was established by Noble Drew Ali. And I'm a Moorish American. How about you? That should answer the question. That's my point. The priority is in the wrong place. And the people behind it that are leading it, you need to look at the integrity of those people, the character of those people, their intentions. Why are they doing that? Why are they ignoring what Noble Drew Ali established to establish their own thing? Think for yourself. Questions. Danielle L. How long are we supposed to wait on that? Time slipping by us too fast. Danielle L. Have you made any videos publicly asking about the Supreme Grand Council? Have you done it on some conference calls that were recorded? Have you wrote a book? Have you wrote an article? Have you made any Facebook posts about the Supreme Grand Council? Danielle L. I'm asking you. I want to know what you have done. Because you're saying how long we supposed to wait. I'm wondering why you waited. What are you doing? It's all good. No. Maybe you should stop waiting on other people and start being active yourself. Maybe that would change things. That's been my point. I keep saying to people, stop. Don't just ask me. Well, when are we supposed to? How about let's be active? Start creating flyers. Start making posts. Supreme Grand Council. Do you know about it, Moors? If not, click here. A link that shows you exactly what it's about. Start making some graphs of what the roles are. There's plenty that we can do if we just put our minds to it and start doing the work. But we got to do it. It can't just be me. I can't just be the one speaking about this. It's not just a Rami Salam El idea or Rami Salam El issue. I'm looking for questions. I see some questions, but they seem more like rhetorical. All of this is a waste of time. Ultra Ryan. All right, well, you don't have to be tapped into this, you know. Peace. Afro Samurai. How come Temple Moors do not go into the streets like the Jehovah Witness and spread the prophet's teaching? Well, I mean, one, really we have to stop calling people Temple Moors or Consular Moors or Internet Moors or whatever kind of Moors. That's a kind of foolish way of classifying people. But I understand what you're saying. Moors that are members of a temple, why don't they, do more teaching in the streets? I don't know. You would have to ask Moors in temples. Moorish American Consulate is for those that are abroad and not in their own land. Are we abroad or are we home, Moors? Moorish American Nationalist Hub. It's a great question. Great question. Yeah. I don't see any other questions. I hope I cleared things up in terms of the idea of Consular Court Moors versus Noble Drew Ali, the idea of Jamal Bey versus Rami Salam El, the idea that I'm somehow picking on him or anyone. The truth is that I have been and I continue Pardon me. I have been and I continue to speak about this Supreme Grand Council issue. And I continually see people deflect, people avoid, people try to dismiss, ignore, duck this topic consistently. And, you know, what I want them to understand, the more that you continue to do this, the worse it'll be for you in the long run. Because at some point, the majority of the people are going to see, oh, wow, you were claiming to be this follower of Noble Drew Ali and for the people. And this dude kept saying, hey, we need to focus on this issue. And none of y'all that were in these leader teacher positions wanted to even analyze it with some real sincerity. Just, you know, and this is a question I want you to think about, everybody watching. Consider the fact that I brought this up in let's say the middle of 2015. So over 3.5 years ago. I have not seen any of the major Moorish teachers create a video called Supreme Grand Council really addressing the importance of this. Really digging in deep into what happened, when it was created, what's going on with it now, or why they feel that we don't need it. You see, my thing is, if you feel that the Supreme Grand Council isn't the issue that we need to be focused on, say that. Say, you know what? I want to do what I want to do. I know what Noble Drew Ali created and what Noble Drew Ali said, but I'm going to do what I want to do. Just be clear so that the people know, so you're not deceiving the people into thinking that they are following what Noble Drew Ali wanted us to be doing. And it's really what your ego and your pride or whatever, you know, your greed, you created and established to satisfy yourself. Because that's the real issue. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't be real understanding and knowing the importance of this and just being quiet and just saying, well, you know, I guess people don't want to hear about the Supreme Grand Council, then I'll just be quiet. I kind of been quiet for a while now. You go listen back to the first video. Very quiet, very just trying to, hey man, where's the Supreme Grand Council? I'm very clear we don't have an active one right now. My opinion, based on all my research, my firm belief is we have no active Supreme Grand Council. And that's what has produced all of this confusion. And it's created the opportunity for people to come in and create whatever other side movements they want to create and capitalize and manipulate and take advantage of people that are really sincere about this movement and will give their all to this movement only to get swindled, to get finessed, to get schemed. And then the sincere people, now they looking at the movement and saying everybody's a schemer, this movement is fake. Because they get locked up because there was no real governmental people behind them to really support them. And now they calling and ain't nobody getting them out of jail. Because they were really standing on this thinking that they had some support. And it's just not operating the way it's supposed to. Why? Because they not following what Noble Drew Ali established. And it's just that simple. Questions. Are you or did you take the proper steps that was laid out in the Zodiac Constitution in regards to grievance with other Moors? No. 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 The Zodiac Constitution was by C.M. Bay. And again, my thing is, you know, amazing work. But we have to first focus on what Noble Drew Ali established. if we do not focus on that and get that squared away, the foundation first, everything else will not work for us. No matter how good it sounds, no matter how intelligent people sound when they talk about the law, the truth is we will not be united and moving in one accord unless we establish the Supreme Grand Council. I mean, if somebody has evidence to show me something that takes more priority than the group that's responsible for all the affairs of our organization, then please show me. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for people to let me know how many videos Jamal had did a label Supreme Grand Council or any other the Moorish leaders. Still waiting. Rami, do you think the fact that there is no functional Supreme Grand Council indicates the lack of function and structure within the Moorish Science Temple of America? Yes, absolutely. That's precisely why there's so much confusion. Why people ask me all the time, I'm in such and such territory. I'm in, Florida territory. I'm in Alabama territory. I'm in North Carolina territory. What temple should I go to, Rami? What Moors are out here, Rami? And I always tell them, I can't even suggest a temple because I'm not who's righteous and who's not. So my suggestion to you is study every single piece of literature that Noble Drew Ali put out. Do that first. And then from there, seek out a temple so that you can have something to gauge people off of. Because there's too many people that are seeming like they're for Noble Drew Ali, but, they're not. They're posing. They're just pretending. They're faking. And it's frustrating because it really causes too much confusion in this movement. And this movement is too important for that. And we're not supposed to have that. Any other questions? Any other questions? Just so I'm clear. Any other questions in terms of consular court, Moorish American consulate, the Supreme Grand Council, any of that? Please let me know. How are they faking? How are they fake? Are you who? How is who faking? Peace, 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 peace. Peace, Moreno. Any other questions? I'm taking questions. All questions. I was supposed to be off this in a little bit, but this is important, so I'm trying to answer all these questions, making it clear. Can you share any information of facts associated with the creation and implementation of the Supreme Grand Council? Yes, I can share. It is all located in the Moorish literature of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Right here. You can read it for free online if you just Google Moorish literature. You can also email me, iamhhtemple@gmail.com, and I'll send you the link personally. I don't want to tell you this information because you need to read it for yourself so that you know, not just from what I've told you. But I will gladly point you in the right direction. Or if you just Google it right now, it'll pop up. Very simple. You can read it all for yourself. The Moors I'm talking about. How are they faking? They're faking if they say that they're following Noble Drew Ali, but they're ignoring the Supreme Grand Council. They're faking if they're claiming to be a Moorish American and they want to help uplift our people and help our nation, and they're not addressing the Supreme Grand Council. And insert whoever. This applies to whoever. And it's